Burch.
I'm Byron Czopek.
I am Benton, Sancho, Sartore.
And it's
time to party!
This month's episodes about the 2009 Star Trek movie were recorded on June 13th, 2023. We are not doctors. We don't give medical advice. Please drink responsibly.
Party two time.
Party two time, two party.
Perfect.
Party harder.
For everyone.
It's about family.
Time 3 party. Yeah.
Against
Time for party 10. Family
party
something.
to the third degree.
So guys, we're talking about the 2009 Star Trek. That's right, the Star Trek they made again in 2009.
It seems like it was made like you said it, like they made it again, like they did it against all of our wills. Like
in 2009, I think, aside from nerds like us, a lot of people were like, "What? Why? With Kirk again? What? Huh?"
From the 60s?
I wasn't. At the time, I didn't even recognize that this was a film until you mentioned it. I'll be brutally honest. Well, okay, so I will say, you know what? I'll save it for my edutainment.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because I have a whole story.
Well, then let's go ahead and dive right in with you, then, Byron. What did you want to talk about for this month for edutainment? What showed up in the movie that caught your attention and made you go, I want to know more about that?
So it's more of all my in-laws, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law is a really big Star Trek fan. My sister-in-law is a big Star Trek fan too. So it's a family of Star Trek fans, and I know nothing about Star Trek.
Are you the black sheep, Byron?
I'm the black sheep for not knowing anything about Star Trek. So, which is, fine. That they don't hold it against me, but whenever one of the newer ones was coming out, I don't remember which one it was. It was one of the J.J. Abrams ones. I don't know if it was the third one or the second one. But it was coming out and they were showing it at this movie theater called Hollywood Cinema, which is out in the Chicago suburbs. And they usually they do big events for there. They have the movie theater is really cool. They if you've never been inside of it, they literally just it's wall to wall memorabilia, goofy stuff all over the place, and they usually like to do big events, or at least they did back then. Actually, one of my friends, Scott Potter, who unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago, he was a big proponent of doing a lot of these big events and helped kind of put some of them together. So one of the events was for one of the new Star Trek movies, and they actually got William Shatner to do a signing there. So he was in the lobby doing the signing. So none of us my mother-in-law loves William Shatner, so she gave him a little hello and everything, and he gave her a little wink back. She didn't buy anything. I told him I love Tech War. Because I figured it's something that the only reason I know about Tech War is because there was a show on USA that came on after Monday Night Raw. So that's the only. And I was like, well, I guess I gotta watch Tech War now. So, but yeah. So that got me to thinking about, we mentioned, I think in the previous episode of William Shatner not being in this, and of what I know, and I don't know all the specifics, but I know, and I'm sure you guys can probably fill it in, but the specifics of William Shatner, nobody in the cast, the original cast, and William Shatner get along at all.
Mm-hmm. That's my understanding. Yes. Yeah,
he was kind of standoffish, or didn't really interact with anybody else within the cast, and you mentioned Leonard Nimoy is actually in the movie, whereas William Shatner nowhere to be found.
William Shatner is the band member that split off and tried to go solo. He just sort of, it seems like he burned a lot of bridges and, became a little weirder later in his life as well.
When we saw him there, I was kind of it is kind of like when celebrities at certain point, they all just look like wax figures in real life. It's he looked exactly the same, and he seemed like a nice enough, celebrity. He didn't care that it was a new he was just like, I'm getting my $50 per signature or whatever exorbitant amount of money it was. But yeah, it was kind of weird to like I was in the middle of this like Star Trek, and people were dressed up and everything, and I'm just looking around. I'm like, I don't know what any of this is. I didn't see any of the previous movies, so I went into that movie completely like blank.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, I know who Spock is, and I know who Kirk is, and it was the one where they switched around, like instead of like it was like, wasn't there a death of Spock or something like that? Like didn't Spock die in one of them? Yeah, it was the whatever J.J. Abrams one they did where they reversed.
Oh yeah, that was
they were like, oh no,
okay.
The third one,
the sequel to this one.
Yeah, it was the second one.
Oh, okay,
Into Darkness.
Into Darkness.
Yeah, the Into Darkness one. Okay, so I saw that one, and like I barely. That's the only thing I remember of it was it switched the deaths. And the rest of the time, I was just eating chicken fingers and enjoying those. They were good chicken fingers. So I don't know what anybody learned from any of this rambling, other than William Shatner is not on anybody's nice list.
Okay,
so.
Okay. We do have a dear friend of the show, Stella, who will no doubt have many things to say in defense of William Shatner. And you know that she's entitled.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he was like a wax figure when I saw him. He gave my mother-in-law a very nice nod, even though she did not buy an autograph. So I think that goes a long way to give somebody a freebie. Because normally if I see people at autograph sites, I don't buy it. I just say something from their most obscure movie.
Like Tech War.
Because we were like Tech War, or the time I saw... the guy who plays Cuddy from The Wire, but he was there for like Walking Dead, his role in Walking Dead at the comic book convention, and I was just like, man, Cuddy, get away from those kids' moms. Just run the boxing gym.
Oh, that's delightful.
Wow.
Yeah.
As far as I hear, Shatner's always been really good to his fans, and so it's good to hear that he was, at least personable for this event. But yeah, interesting. Okay. Benton, you want to go next, or shall I go next?
You can go next.
Okay. I had a bunch of different things that I thought of that I might want to talk about, including survival kits, convertibles, aerophobia, training simulators. But what I settled on is parkas. I don't know why.
Yeah, where did he get that parka?
Yeah, exactly.
Was it Stacey parka?
I guess it was in that duffel bag that he pulled out of the pod. But yeah, it's just this.
They just give you a parka.
Big floofy parka with big gloves. And then Spock also had a big floofy parka that he got from somewhere. Apparently, when the Romulans maroon you on a planet to watch your planet get exploded, they give you just a dope jacket to do it in. So parkas.
Yeah, they got a good swag team there.
Yeah, really. Like the design scheme on that parka. In the future, they're gonna have great parkas with the the spherical hood situation.
You've had enough time and enough research to really understand how the wind velocity is going to hit you, how you're going to back that. Listen, you guys went all in on the Star Trek conversation for like a 45 minutes. You can
contribute
and
to
I was just like standing there patiently. Now I can contribute. Yeah, this is where I start to shine. When we start talking about parkas.
So parkas, just a quick skim through Wikipedia will tell you that parkas come from a Inuit design. So this was a First Nations design here in the great north of America. They're also made in Greenland by the people who lived there, the First Nations folks of Greenland. Although they're called by a different name. That's where we get the word anorak. So if your grandparents referred to parkas as anoraks, there's a reason for that. Apparently, we just started using both words.
It It wasn't like go back to bed.
No, yeah.
We don't call them that anymore.
And there doesn't seem to be a clear like delineation as to why we started calling them anoraks as opposed to parkas. I wasn't able to spot any like clear reason why both words fell into common usage. And it seems especially odd as anorak originally was defined as a beaded item worn by Greenland women or brides. So not a coat at all.
Or was it like in Greenland, you only get married in a coat. It's like a coat over the dress.
It's cold there. You're going to need a coat. Yeah.
Yeah. It's their part of their fashion sense and culture.
But the thing that I thought was really interesting is that it came into common usage because of military parkas. So in the 50s, for Korea, the U.S. military put forward two kinds of parkas that got put into common usage and would have been recognizable to anybody who had access to the news or film reels or whatever. And so the snorkel parka and the fishtail parka were two kinds of parkas that were issued by the U.S. military and sort of popularized the style, which is really it's interesting to think that sort of style of jacket didn't come around until that recently in our understanding and modern usage, that it was sort of like this I don't know, localized garment until then, it seems. But yeah, so parkas, just a super shallow dive. It's odd to think that there was this gap in parka usage. Yeah.
By the way, for listeners at home, you can totally tell Ansel is the one without kids, because he had all this time to really get in depth on parkas.
I read the Wikipedia on parkas and did 2 other Googles, just so I wasn't going to be all the way racist when I brought it up. How about you, Benton? What caught your fancy on this one?
One thing. This is really goofy now because I have an invention within the Star Trek universe.
Even better! I love that.
About. Okay, one thing I always love is like that, because Star Trek takes place in the future, and so you have events connected to real dates.
Yeah,
which is weird. It's super weird, and so I was thinking about like the warp drive, the ability to travel far distances in space and so on and so forth, which supposedly we're going to invent in less than 40 years.
Yeah.
Star Trek First Contact, which is a film that takes place around when we humans make first contact, is set in April of 2063.
Which doesn't seem far enough from now.
We have to get through World War III first, too, apparently.
And a eugenics crisis, yeah.
Yeah, that's messed up. But yeah, I always enjoy hearing all the dates and stuff that are very weird. I know there's a lot of jokes right now about, there's an offhand reference in an episode to the Irish reunification of 2024. Next year?
Yep. There's quite a few Irish people who are quite excited for that idea.
The best is when the best is when it's something that has not happened clearly, where it's like if you see Escape from New York, and it's New York.
Oh yeah,
1999. It's well, it's not. Yeah, it did not. That didn't happen. Didn't become a prison colony where people.
Oh yeah, supposedly according to Star Trek, in the 1990s, there was a big eugenics war between genetically modified supermen taking over the world.
Yep. That's where Khan comes from.
I think another weird thing, too, is that in an episode recently of Strange New Worlds, they referred to the Second American Civil War, and they used footage from January 6th.
That's how it's going to be remembered, apparently.
Apparently.
Also coming up next year is the Bell Riots.
Oh, yeah, Bell Riots, only, 4 or 5 years
September
away?
of 2024.
2024? Okay, so...
Yeah, basically.
Is that where, people are just going to keep ringing bells outside of your door?
So, the whole idea of the Bell Riots
you get
is
annoyed?
a little darkly funny. is that cities begin building like little like ghettos for like homeless populations. Like these areas where they want them to like be shut off, like they're gated little poor communities away from the rest of society. While they were filming this episode in the 1990s, the city of Los Angeles proposed exactly that.
Yeah, the Skid Row.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, we had this whole idea thinking this would be like something too extreme for any modern politician to actually want to try to do, and then actually trying to do it in Los Angeles while we're filming
Buddy
this.
Colvin tried to create Hamsterdam in Baltimore, and that worked out fine.
I mean, Hamsterdam was at least a semi-good idea. There's never been a paper bag for drugs. Now. Yes.
And I wish the Wire had some kind of time travel in it, because then we could go on that. Unfortunately, with no time travel, can't talk about it on the show.
I keep talking about putting together April Fool's episodes where we explain plot holes with time travel. So, like, take a movie that doesn't already have time travel in it, and then you go, okay, well, the only way that this could have happened...
this could work...
is if one of these characters time traveled.
Yeah.
So, if you can find an episode of The Wire where the only explanation is time travel, I don't think it's likely since The Wire had such tight writing, but, you know, I'll put that challenge out there for you.
There's got to be a season 5 episode we could have easily...
Yeah, I thought season 5 also. Poor season 5.
Benton, did we let you get everything out before we started doing bits?
Yes, that's okay. Yes.
What?
Yes, it's absolutely okay.
Hey,
I did very minimal research.
2 dads with small children came on this podcast at all. It's impressive the amount of effort that you put in.
The one thing that when you mentioned computer like simulator games, I was thinking it would be really cool to do that simulator and you get to eat an apple. Like that's your whole video game where you just get to tell everybody else what to do while you're eating an apple. That would be my perfect video game.
So
like
next time the 3 of us get
I don't
together,
have to press any buttons. Yeah.
Next time the 3 of us get together, we need to find somewhere where we can play Starship Artemis, which is a bridge simulator game. And it's basically exactly that. Like you get to play as the crew of the spaceship, and everybody gets their own readout, except the captain, who doesn't get to push any buttons or read any. Like the captain doesn't get to know anything. The captain just has to take everybody else's input and be like, "Yeah, drive that way, I guess."
Do they give the captain an apple, or do you have to provide your own apple? I think you have to
bring your own apple, but I feel like we can arrange this.
I could do that. Yeah. Yeah, if we could do that, if we could make my dream a reality, my 2 dreams in life, to eat an apple while telling somebody else what to do, and then to get the COVID-19 warnings on this podcast on Spotify. My 2 goals in life.
If you want to join in the conversation, you can.
If you want to tell us how you think COVID-19 was, in fact, a hoax created by the 1% elite.
Also, we're not...
that Emperor Trump will save us from in 2024.
Also, this is not a live podcast, so please don't call us in. Next week's episode is about this instead. This is a pre-recorded call-in show from Mr. Show.
Oh, Cross will be so mad.
Find me online at Indecisionist on Twitter and at The Indecisionist on Instagram. Special thanks to April Moralba for our podcast art and to Marlon Longett of Marlon and the Shakes for our amazing theme song. This has been an Indecisionist production. You can find show notes and full transcripts of all of our episodes at indecisionist.com.
Be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.
We did it.